Hey there, welcome back to the table. So, I just want you guys to know, I read your comments. I try to. I sometimes don't get notified. Um, so when I go into YouTube, there's notifications. I don't get the emails. I don't get the texts. I only get the notifications when I log in. So, I'm not that anal. I don't need to be that up to date with what everybody's saying. But when I log in, it usually has, there's four new comments or whatever, and it's funny because like I'm still getting stuff from B17 leader, which I recorded 3 years ago. And then somebody's asking me a question, and I'm like, dude, I don't remember anything about that playthrough. And sometimes, like, if they link the spot in the video, I'll try to help them. And then, of course, some of you are passionately watching this playthrough, and some of you I don't even recognize, so you're fairly new. And I just want you to know you're capturing the spirit of what I do with this channel. I mean, I don't do serious edits. I don't even take myself seriously, but we have a good time, and people join me at the table, and we play. And some of the classic ones are, of course, you will see Andrew posting a lot. He's my friend from Canada. And then you will also see JB. And JB, I think you're in Germany, right? Um, and JB is always the one that corrects me on my statistics because I always say I got a probability of X and Y Z, and then he'll tell me, nope, you got it wrong. And he calculated the statistics of removing a -2 and adding a +1. So excellent work, JB. I really appreciate it. And then, of course, I got some new folks. One helping me with the focus rules, and then, of course, another three or four of you, in fact, and JB, you were one of them, um, that helped me to understand you draw three battle cards, not two. Two was what you did in the original Gloomhaven. Now that we're in the new Frosthaven, you get to draw three. And let me just tell you, I wish I could have drawn three because those last ones were awful. So, couple of things I want to address, and I'm realizing I don't have the camera on. So let me do this. Can you see me now? There we go. Yay! I apologize so much. I'm feeling like a goober for not having my camera on. So, camera is now on. I wonder what, like, I guess you're just seeing like a blank screen. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, sorry about that. Okay, focus. Let's talk about focus one last time. I'm pretty sure I have it down now, but I want to address it. So we have, let's say, that situation, and then let's say we have these are obstacles. You can't move. You can shoot over them, but you can't move through them. And then let's put another one here. Okay. This is a guard. If the guard needs to do a melee attack, because melee attack is what the rules talk about first, you have to determine who is his focus. His focus is going to be whoever is the least amount of movement points. So both of them are 2 spaces away, but this one is 1 movement point. This one over here is 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, either way. But either way, it's 3 movement points to get to him. It's only 1 movement point to get to him, so he gets the focus, the drifter. Okay? It's that simple. Now, I was confusing things with the, like, okay, so if this is a priest who is on your team and he's healing you, I was saying, okay, he is going to focus on whoever he's going to heal, and that's going to be his target. But that's not true. If there was an enemy over here, the priest is actually going to move away from you and potentially not be able to heal either of you. And that is the new thing that one of the viewers, and I apologize, I know your name's on the tip of my tongue and I forgot it already. I really apologize because you've been very helpful. So he helped to point that out, that it's just really to simplify things. I still think it's a dumb thing, but I totally understand and appreciate, first of all, that it is accurate. Like, that part I agree. It's an accurate representation of the rule as intended. And then the other thing is that it's also simplifies things, because what if he had to move, heal, and attack? How would you handle that? I mean, would he go this way or would he go that way? So in all cases, if there's an enemy on the board and this is your ally, he would move towards the enemy as if it was a melee attack. So using the same exact rules of this scenario, I just put them for you. Now, there are moments where they're going to throw a spear or throw a dagger, so it's a ranged attack. Okay, a ranged attack is different, because the ranged attack, they're still going to potentially move, and it's still about moving the least amount of spaces. However, in this situation, if this say he has a range 2, he's thrown a javelin 2 spaces. Both of these are going to be targets of focus. And then you'll have to resort to tiebreakers, because even though this one is only 1 movement point, he doesn't have to move at all to hit either of them. So therefore, both of them are in. Now this one, who's 3 spaces away, let's put it here, is not going to be in focus, because to shoot this one with a range 2 attack, he would have to move 1 space. Now, he does not have to move 1 space to hit these 2, so he stays put. Okay? Now, which of the 2 does he attack? Well, it's going to be whichever one had the lower initiative. So, if this guy went first, he would be the one. If that guy went first, he would be the one. And it would just be that simple. Now, if the archer has multiple targets, if it's 2 targets, he still wouldn't move, and he would be after both of those. If it's 3 targets, then and only then would he move, because that movement would then allow him to hit more targets. And so in that case, he would be able to hit all 3. Now, what's interesting about this is that puts him at disadvantage. And I'm actually curious, viewerland, because there's another rule we haven't talked about yet. And that is the archer will avoid disadvantage at all costs. So would it move here to target all 3? Because in this situation, these 2 would not be at disadvantage, but that one would. So which is the higher value? Targeting these 2 and not being at disadvantage, or targeting 3 and being at disadvantage? From my understanding of reading it, it would still do the move. It would try to move somewhere else if it can to get all 3 without disadvantage. But that's the situation. Now, there's one last thing, and there was a comment about it. I had a situation where there were 2 guards, so I'm just going to put 2 archers in instead. The guards were doing a ranged attack. And so we had a situation where I think it was sort of like this. So I had people on both sides. So this one went first, and let me put them in numerical order so it doesn't confuse anybody, although the elite thing is confusing. So we'll do this. Okay, this one went first. So based on the, these 2 would be the focus, right? And of course, now you got to do tiebreakers. Well, this guy went first, this one back here. So this one, what he would do is he would move 1 space. He's still next to this one, but his focus would now be no longer at disadvantage. So he absolutely would move to avoid disadvantage. And I apologize, because I think in that scenario it was this one that went first, because he went like that. And then what would happen is this one had to move, and he can only move 1 space, but that 1 space doesn't get him out of disadvantage with either of these targets. And so he has 3 targets to choose from. He's still going to choose, the one that's the least amount of movement. And so I think the argument that was being made by the viewer is that since this one can move 1 space away, he would have chosen this one right here, even if these 2 went first. So it's not about choosing your target here. Because right here, he has 3 equal targets. And let's say this guy is the one that went first. Um, because the situation, and let's move these down a little bit, so he's blocked, right? He has only one place he can physically move to, and that's it. Forget about this one. There. That's block 2. So he has only one place he can physically move to. So which of these 3 does he attack? Now, I think the logic I've been using is, okay, this guy has the lowest initiative, so he's going to attack this guy, and oh darn it, he can't move and lose his disadvantage, so he's just going to have to do disadvantage. But I think in reality, what happens is that you use the movement rule. The least amount of spaces to hit your target, and with the range people to hit your target without disadvantage. You got to add that without disadvantage. So it would move one more space and then attack this one, even though he had a 99 and was supposed to go last. So I wholly welcome comments on this. From my perspective, I don't lose sleep over getting some of this wrong. I think this is the part of Gloomhaven that has driven people nuts for ever since Gloomhaven came out. And I know Frosthaven has streamlined it, and I totally confess, like, it seems simple, but there are these scenarios where it's like, oh gosh darn it. And I of course always have an intellectual curiosity on what exactly is the right move. But in this situation, like I said, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I think in the past, prior to these comments that I've been receiving, I would have chosen this guy because I had 3-way tie and then this one won. But now I'm thinking, yeah, I would move one space to the right and then choose this guy because that's the only one of the 3 I can shoot without disadvantage. And my apologies, my dog is stuck and whining, so let me go help her. Poor girl. Alright, we got a happy dog. Okay, so I hope that made sense. And I actually like these little scenarios. I wish Isaac Childress would hire me to come up with these so we could put them in his book so he can tell us how this would work. Because, to be quite honest, these are the trickier scenarios. Much trickier than the examples that he gave. But with that being said, I do think he covered them. It's just, I don't know, like some of you have pointed out, to me an ally is yourself, but obviously his key language, his allies are not yourself. So everybody has like a different intention, and it's okay whatever word they choose to use. It's just the person receiving the message has to understand it too. Excuse me. All right. So, what scenario are we going to do next? Excuse me, I have the hiccups. What scenario are we going to do next? Well, first of all, let's review our choices. We have scenario 5. And I think from the main storyline perspective, that is the next one. This is we just allied with the Wind Dancer or Ice Dancer or whatever, and now this is the next one in the series. 6 is not unlocked, and I did go verify. 6 is if we would have allied with the other guy. Oh, and that reminds me. Somebody brought up the wind scenario of Heart of Ice, and they suggested that maybe I lost. So, right here, the scenario is complete when only one boss is dead and characters and character summons have collectively dealt damage to that boss. Okay? It is not players and player summons, it's characters. And I know that's like that's a tongue-in-cheek thing and whatnot, but so what the argument was is that since the other boss did most of the damage, that we technically lost the scenario because we needed to do half the hit points. I don't know if that's necessarily the intention. So, 1 second. Okay, I correct myself. Character is us. um, but now I understand the situation. We did not have to have the other boss at half its hit points. It's whichever boss died, we had to at least do half the damage to it. So we did win that scenario because the Frozen Fist, we did the lion's share of damage to the Frozen Fist. Now, had we gone and finished off the Snow Dancer, the Frozen Fist did most of the damage to the Snow Dancer, and if we would have killed the Snow Dancer, I'm assuming that we would have then had to turn around and kill the Frozen Fist in order to win the scenario. So we would have had to kill both of them. So, it says the boss is dead and characters and character summons have collectively dealt damage to the boss equal to at least half of its maximum hit point value. That was the case. So we did win, but you're right. I totally misrepresented this. I thought that one had to die and the other one had to be at half health. And that part was absolutely inaccurate. So my apologies there. I definitely misunderstood that. And I'm just glad we won it properly. So I hate having asterisks. All right, next. We have the Crystal Trench, and we have Edge of the World. Now, these are both unlocked, and here's the cool thing. I mean, it's just like Gloomhaven. You go wherever you want to go. You do whatever you want to do. And we don't have to necessarily keep following the main storyline. So, I did take a brief look at, like, what they are. Because I know some people are like, oh, that's cheating. I get it. That you've been here long enough. You should understand. I do like to peek. So, all three of them are very straightforward, and I think all three of them are doable. I will tell you that this one will get me one step closer to retiring Blinkblade. So if I want to get to the next set of creatures Blinkblade needs to kill, Edge of the World is for sure on the list. Crystal Trench I didn't pay as much attention to, and you can see here that they're actually going to unlock more missions. So we're going to go do one, and then it's going to balloon and unlock two more. But we're not quite done. So we have another series of things. And that's this one. It's called the Aether Outpost. And we immediately unlock a strong foundation, 65, and follow it to a conclusion. Alright, so that one is all the way onto a third sheet. And what's funny is we got 64, and then that's where 65 is supposed to be. Where did 65 go? Funny guys. Where the heck is 65? Oh my gosh. Look at this. There's a appendix on the back. Contains a shard of the Lurker Crown. That's what that symbol is. Remember I was asking what that symbol means? This is unlocked by a job posting, personal quest. Oh my gosh. Requires these to play. This is really nice. Boss scenario. Scenario requires completion of the scenario with a banner of the same color. Linked scenarios. Only one of two paths can be taken. Oh, this is very, very nice. And it even tells you up here, like, the colors. So, like, these are Algox. That's Unfettered, Lurker, Puzzle Book, Personal Quest, Job Posting. Oh my gosh, I like it. I didn't even realize that. So, red is Personal Quest. And here's number 65, right here. So, remember, red was Personal Quest, and this is a Personal Quest. It's called the Aether Outpost. And so we unlocked 65, and we actually unlocked this a long time ago. So we'll have to put that sticker on. And I gotta remind myself to get the peelable stickers instead of using these. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I should save it. So this is a strong foundation, And then it has that symbol, and I already forgot what that one means. Let's look at it again. That is unlocked by personal quest. Okay, fair enough. And then here, it's showing you that this next mission is unlocked by a calendar event. So I peeked at this because I'm like, okay, if I do this quest, am I causing Bone Shaper to retire early? Because I don't necessarily want to retire without at least trying level 2 or level 3 of each of these characters. Like, I don't want to retire that fast. And the answer is, there is a whole line of quests here that need to be done. And the outcome to it is glorious. So, it's very worth doing. And here's the deal. We're going to do this quest here, and then it's going to put like a timer. So we have to wait so many weeks. And then we're going to be asked to do this next quest down here. And then we're going to be asked to do this quest. And then we're going to be asked to do that. See the little arrows? It's going to stop at 68. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 quests. And each of these has a pause where you have to wait so many calendar weeks before the next one unlocks. So it behooves us to do this one right away. That way it gets on the calendar, because, you know, we might be level 5 or 6 by the time we get to this one. Because we're going to be doing other quests in the middle. So there is no such thing as go in here and just doing 4 quests in a row. You do a quest and you're going to have to wait until the next ones. It is an excellent outcome, this chain. Maybe some of you who are familiar with this personal quest already knew that, and you were like, oh my gosh, you got so lucky, you got that one right away. I mean, it's possible we didn't draw this one right away, right? But this one is fantastic, and I'm very curious to see how it plays out. Now, it does mean that Bone Shaper will retire once we're at the end, but like I said, because of the pauses and stuff, Bone Shaper is going to have plenty of time to do a whole bunch of missions. In fact, other characters might retire before we even finish this one. So I am going to embark on this. It doesn't look like a fun quest. It looks like it's a little challenging. They all do, actually. And I guess I always told you that I'm going to spoil this game. So let's just spoil it. And you guys can just skip ahead 30 seconds. So it's 2 taps on your tablet, you know, if you have that on your YouTube. This unlocks the ability to enhance your skills. You know, those little stickers? If you've played original Gloomhaven, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But all these little stickers here, like you can take one of your skills that does, let's say, 3 damage, and you can add a +1 now and make it 4 damage. So that is a shop that you have to unlock. It's like a building, and this quest line is going to unlock that building. And not only does it unlock it, but every character is given free gold to do an unlocking of some kind, like to do an enhancement. And so you literally get 200 gold to do that. So it's 50 gold per character. So let's put it that way. That is worth doing, folks. So, and at some point I needed to do it anyways, just because I'm tired of the Bone Shaper and I want to go on to a next character. But that's what this quest line is. So yeah, we'll get that going. And as you can see, I don't have it set up yet. So I will be pausing, and then I'll go grab the materials. And yeah, we're not following the main quest line at the moment. But that's what Gloomhaven's all about. And Frosthaven is about as well. So the color coding is awesome. I didn't even realize that was the color coding. And he put a lot more thought in it than I thought. So very happy about that. Alright, so I have to pause, and then we're going to be going into mission 65. So let me grab that real quick, and let's just show you. So part of, like, when you're going to set up these scenarios, they tell you exactly who's going to be in it. And so as you can see, none of these are going to be the Algoxes, so I'm going to have to put away the boxes, get a whole new set of stuff out. And then you have like different, like it tells you exactly how much rubble and ice and other things you need. And it tells you everything. So even though there's 3 tiles, and only one of those tiles is used at the beginning, everything is already pre-captured. Even though I don't know exactly where they're going to go, I will have them all already set aside. I absolutely love this. Like, this is a huge improvement over Gloomhaven. And then even the loot deck, you know, you're supposed to build the loot deck. Which brings up another viewer comment. The loot cards, you get them right away, but you're not supposed to log them into your register until you win. Because if you somehow lose the mission, you don't get to keep the loot that you took. And that's an excellent point that I never considered. And I find that to be a big problem. Because if we go here to the app, just give me a second while I get it loaded. This is our last mission. So we got the Bone Shaper here. And yeah, I can say you have 2 loot cards right there, right? But then people are saying, well, you're supposed to grab the loot cards right away. Okay, so 1, I grab this. So now what do? Do I have to literally... I have to literally pull out the loot deck and now look for a lumber and say, here, you got this one. I think that's what I got to do. Because you could see, like, okay, fine, I grabbed that loot. Well, it's up here. It doesn't say who it belongs to. So, you know, I go grab another loot. Okay, I got some coins. What I was doing is I was immediately putting it on their ledger sheet. And of course, if I would have lost the scenario, I would have had to go back and erase it all. So that's a pain in the butt, too. Now, I could, like I just said, I could come in here and, you know, somewhere in here is 2 coins. There it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and hand that to the character. I guess I could do it that way. A part of me is like, I would rather just shuffle the cards and build the deck myself. Because if I'm going to have to give them the cards, then why not just build the deck myself? That's the only stipulation or issue I have with this. Anyways, if any of you have any thoughts on that, let me know. But it is a wrinkle that makes the loot deck less useful. I guess you could still argue that it's nice because it already built the deck for you, but now we're trusting it. And I don't trust games, and especially apps, to get things correct. I mean, this one so far has been really good. In fact, I don't think we've found an error yet, other than it doesn't remember the curses, even though the curse is still there. And then once you do this, it then shows up. But especially Stars of Ikarios app had errors all throughout it. I'm not saying that this is made by the same people, because it's not. But, I'm trusting that they built this loot deck properly, and somewhere in here should be a random item. Well, there was a mushroom, and there's their random item. So we didn't get any of that stuff, right? And then it says there's 4 cards left in the deck. And there we go. Now the whole deck is empty. Anyways, there you have it. It's a bit of a dilemma, because, now I have to deal with the cards. But I guess it's still easier to just go grab the card after it's been drawn than to try to assemble the deck ahead of time. It does save on setup time, that is for sure. All right, as you can tell, I have a little bit of work to do to get this scenario set up. I just wanted to get that explained, and I'm already 28 minutes in. So part of me is like, well, maybe we should wrap this up. But I'm actually going to pause the video and then get it set up, and then we'll do the introduction, which of course is all narrated, and let's rock and roll. This mission does not look easy, by the way. This looks like this one's going to be quite a challenge. Okay, here it is in its glory. My boards have been warping. Obviously, the game was shipped to me in winter, and I've discovered a long time ago that when you open games that have been shipped in very cold weather, you bring it in your house. If you crack the seal and start to take pieces out, the boards will warp, as it starts to warm back up. You have to leave the game sealed and let it get back up to room temperature for like a day or two. When you get a new game like this, who's going to let it just sit unopened for a day or two? I mean, come on. Well, I'm paying my price for that right here. So it is a very busy map, and in fact, I forgot one thing. Our starting spots are along the edge here, and I reserve the right, of course, to change my mind, but it's basically all along the side. So here's some highlights. The first one is that this is a new type of terrain. This is called a dangerous terrain. If you were to ever step on it, you automatically take damage. How much damage, do you ask? That's not what this little fire means. So a level 1 scenario, it's going to be 2 damage. That is for us and for the enemy. This is just like terrain from the past. You can't move on it, but you can shoot over it, and you can fly and land on it. This is a rock. We've seen it before. It's just like this, same as I just described. The dangerous terrain, there's quite a few of them. A few of them are even blocked by the creatures here, but you can see most of them. And then there's a new type of terrain called ice, which is here, here, and here. They look like doors, but they're called ice. And I think this is also ice. Let me check. Yes, it's also ice. Yes. Okay, so ice is, it's got a unique property of, if you ever were to move onto ice, you move again one more space in that same direction, and it doesn't count against your movement points. So you can use ice actually to your advantage sometimes. Also, it could be to your detriment. So if you were here and you get moved onto this space, you're going to automatically, because of the ice, move onto the trap. It's not a trap, but you know what I mean, the dangerous terrain. So, as you guessed, this is going to be one about using the dangerous terrain to our benefit and not to our detriment. And then I know it's hard to see, but if I move this guy out of the way, this is a door. And when the door opens, of course, it'll flip over, and we will unlock the next one. Now, I think the door... Let's see. It says... Oh, no, we can open the door at any time. We don't have to kill everybody. But there is a special rule. All monsters add push 1 to all of their attacks. So every time we get attacked, we're going to get pushed 1 space away. If this was a level 4 or higher scenario, it would be a push 2. But that's not the case here. So you're already getting the sense that we're going to be pushed around a lot. And we're going to have to be mindful of the dangerous terrain while we're trying to beat them. Now, we got new creatures, I think almost entirely new. This is the Living Bones, which, if you remember Gloomhaven, this was a early level monster, sort of like the Algox were for us. And their big trait is that they can summon more living bones, like they can multiply. At least that's the way it was in Gloomhaven. I don't know if that's the case here. They also have some pretty good retaliate and other stuff. These are corpses, frozen corpses. So apparently they're living frozen corpses. And a little bit of an oxymoron. These are frost imps, and that's it. So that covers the gamut of creatures. But all of them are new. The frost imps and the corpses are all, of course, going to be new. Imps in general in Gloomhaven would either curse you a lot, or they have like nasty range attacks. They can be annoying. They're like gnats. But they should be easy to take down. And let's take a look at them over here on the app. And yes, my glare is back. So the Snow Imp, for example, has 2 health, 2 movement, and 1 attack. But the attack has that little ice symbol. What the heck is that ice symbol? Oh, brittle. Double the next source of damage. It gets removed if you're healed. But yeah, if you take a source of damage, you take double damage. So that can be brutal. So they brittle you up, but hardly damage you. And then the next guy comes along and swings a heavy axe and does 12 damage. So it's like, that's a new concept, right? but you can see they're real easy to take down if you can get on them first. The Living Bones has shield. So they have one shield. That sounds right. They target 2 creatures at a time. So, because they have like 4 arms, it's a really weird one. But as you can see, they only do 1 damage. And then, of course, the Elite does a little better. But they do move fast, and they have decent health. Then the Frozen Corpse. This is a new one. Never experienced this in Frosthaven, or Gloomhaven, I mean. So it looks like they got a lot of health for a corpse. And they have shield. This one has retaliate. But the amount of damage they do is fairly low. All of them have pretty low damage. But that doesn't mean that their cards don't add to the damage. Like, it could be an attack +2 or whatever. So it's all going to be the mystery of the cards that they draw. But yeah, these tend to be fairly low health creatures. So if we're aggressive, we should be able to take them out. Alright, let's get this up and move to scenario 65.
Responding to an alarm bell, you peer over the main gate of Frosthaven to see a group of unfamiliar figures approaching through the night's freshly deposited snow. As you watch them, it dawns upon you that this group leaves no trace of their movements, no footprints in the snow. Esthers. You signal the gate open and descend to meet them.
Greetings.
8 shimmering forms all move their mouths in unison, but a single voice appears in your mind.
We have come to ask your assistance.
You wonder why this group of Esthers act and speak as one, and they explain as soon as the thought reaches your mind.
When the betrayer brought about our dissolution, we were not strong enough to bring our forms back on our own. But through the strong bonds of our former life, we found each other in the vast emptiness and decided to meld, to become as one. Only by doing so did we bring ourselves back. We are not strong. Not in the sense that others of our kind are. But if you help us, we will provide knowledge in return.
You decide to help, and the figures immediately lighten their expressions.
You have our thanks. We have located an old elemental array that will assist in keeping our forms anchored to this plane. We cannot recover it on our own, as lesser spirits and malevolent creatures infest the area.
Voice of 8 leads you to the snowfields north of Frosthaven, where an unnatural fog rolls in, giving you the feeling that the air itself has been frozen. You continue forward, the Esthers quiet and always a few steps ahead. Before long, ruins appear on the edge of your limited vision, some sort of protective structure. The cackling sound of impish creatures can be heard long before your eyes find them through the frozen fog. They throw small stones at the heads of large undead creatures, failing to get their attention. Your appearance, however, draws the attention of both.
Okay, so these Aether creatures need our help. I don't know what happened to them in Gloomhaven. It's sort of a mystery to me. I'm sure at some point it was revealed, and I don't remember any of that. But you know, apparently they're trying to assemble their bodies with their spirits or whatever. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm a very thematic guy. So basically, we got a murder, death, kill. Actually, we got to go find this glowing orb. Is actually the quest. So the scenario itself says, the scenario is complete when all enemies in it are dead. At the end of the round, read, and then we go to 168.3. Now, one thing I do want to point out Immediately unlock a strong foundation and follow it to a conclusion. And I guarantee you that when I go to 168.3, it says conclusion. So I was thinking to myself, is this really just one quest? And the answer is no, because if you go through the series of 4 quests, like I explained earlier, it says Esther Outpost is complete. So that's the name of this private ambition. And so I think it's just really poor choice of language. Follow it to a conclusion. Well, these scenario books say conclusion on them every time you accomplish the goal. Like here, I'll go to that 168.3 and just show you what I'm talking about. Right here. So without showing you all the cheaty stuff, right there, see the word conclusion? That can really throw you off and make you think, okay, well, I just concluded Aether Outpost. I guess I have to retire. And I don't believe that's the case. So, yeah, really poor choice of words, the word conclusion. It should have been something else. But yeah, we're going to get started real soon. I have to pause. Okay, so we're ready to get started here. I'm still reserving the right on where I'm going to actually start for sure in terms of location, but we do start along the edge of the map there. And so yeah, these undead guys have a lot of hit points. Nobody seems to do a lot of damage. The Living Bones is actually the one that can target multiple creatures, so I've never cared for them. They're usually, take them out quick. And yeah, thanks to multiple viewers letting me know, I get to draw 3 of these per character. So this is the Bone Shaper. I don't know why I'm forgetting things. This is the Banner Spear, Blink Blade, and Drifter. Alright, we'll look at them one at a time, figure out what's going on. Oh yeah, there was also viewer feedback that the quest that the Drifter, I gave him 2 check marks. He had to kill one of each type, and the argument was that since there were 2 bosses, those were 2 different types. I totally understand your logic, but my logic is that a boss is a single type. Just like a guard is a single type. There's well, guard's not a good example. Imp is a certain type. So here, let me show you what I mean, and this is why I disagree. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. 1 second. Let me grab the imp one. This is my imp box. There are snow imps. Well, actually, I got it written down. There are snow imps, forest imps, and black imps in this box. They use one combat deck called Imp. All 3 of them use the same cards. So that is one type. And so even though there were 2 bosses, they use the same boss deck. So there's one type. So that's the reason why I gave him credit. And your point is extremely valid. There's like all the other things in this game, you can interpret things one way or another, but that was the basis by which I considered a type. Is if the designer bothered to make a new combat deck for it, then it was a new type. So that's like, for example, there's a bunch of different scouts. All scouts are of the same type. Even if there was, if there was a black imp and a snow imp on here, I would tell you that all he had to do was kill one imp. They didn't have to kill a black imp and a snow imp. Okay, so anyways, moving on. So this is the bone. I keep wanting to say bone crusher, Bone Shaper. Kill an enemy and loot the loot token it drops in the same round. Not easy for her to do at all, so this one's out. Be targeted by attacks from 3 or more enemies in the same round. Nope. Never perform a basic action. That is doable. Because, yeah, let's try it. Out of all the characters, she is the one that could probably pull that off. So, thank goodness she got it, and not the Drifter. Alright, here's, this is Banner Spear. Bully. Kill an enemy that has 2 or more negative conditions. So let's see, we can poison it. It's doable, but that requires a lot of work. Kill an enemy and open a door in the same turn in either order. That is doable. Kill an enemy before it takes its first turn. Now that requires somebody with low hit points. That Living Bones has 5 hit points right there. Can I actually do 5 hit points of damage to this enemy before he takes his turn? Ooh, I do have that 6 card that lets me go early. I just don't think I can do 5 points of damage. This is too risky. I'm going to try to kill an enemy and open the door in the same turn. That's going to be a tough one. I am not getting good luck with Banner Spear in terms of these combat objectives. Alright, this is Blink Blade. Kill the first enemy to die in the scenario. It's possible. Kill an enemy not adjacent to you while you are adjacent to another enemy. Confusing, but doable. Collect fewer loot tokens than any other character. Blink Blade usually collects a lot of loot tokens. The one who collects the least is actually the Banner Spear. Let's try to be the first to kill. Because that's a nice one. If you could get that out of the way early, then you don't have to worry about it the rest of the scenario. Alright, and then Drifter. Occupy a door hex adjacent to 2 or more enemies at the end of a round. I mean, it seems doable, but I don't know what the scenario has in store for us, so this is hit and miss. Remove a negative condition from yourself or an ally 2 or more times. So that just means we are going to get negative conditions with these imps, so, you know, basically heal them. It's possible with this scenario. Add 2 cards to your lost pile before your first rest. Ooh. You know I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that at all. And it's before your first rest even. You get 2 check marks, and it's real easy to do. I'm going to go with the Optimist. We're going to try to remove a negative condition. 2 cards. Jeez. Alright. Actually, the Drifter is harder to burn cards. Because, yeah, these cards burn, but you got to move this thing all the way to the end. There's very, like, I'm still trying to find a card that he can actually burn. There you go. I can move 4 and throw. I can burn that card. And I can do this and this and burn that card. So I could play both of those cards. They would be gone for the rest of the mission, and I would get 2 check marks. That's a tall order. I'm not a big fan. I will go ahead and just try to get 1 check mark instead. Okay, so we need Blink Blade to kill this guy. So I think what I want to do is we're going to rearrange a few folks. The having her in the back is fine. And we can actually go all the way down to here. So I could move this one 1 step closer. I can move them all 1 step closer, in fact. And I'm going to leave her back. And that's as far back as she could go, by the way. So she's hiding behind all the stuff. Now, one thing that the I think the game didn't explain it fully, but I'm assuming it. The ice works for the enemy too. So if the enemy steps on the ice, they're going to the next location as well. So we got to be careful there, because it means that enemies can move and utilize movement pretty savvy that way. And it would be nice to have pushes and pulls in our hand, because that's apparently going to be a thing. So, let's figure out how Blinkblade is going to kill this living spirit and have it be the first death. So, one of the things I think I want to do is I'm going to get my reinforcement out, and then I'm going to throw my javelin. And so that's going to be a 21. So we're going to do 3 damage to this guy to start off the game, and then have Blinkblade go in and finish him off. That's the plan. Whether or not it actually works, that's a different story. Alright, so now Blinkblade does have 1 token, so it could start off fast if I need to. See, like right there is that push. Now, somebody said that this is an attack first and then a push. But the push is on the left side, so that's what bothers me. But I think it's just the fast is on the left side, the slow is on the right. So I totally understand why somebody mentioned what they did. So I did this a little bit wrong, and that makes this one a little bit more powerful. Because then you could do the attack and then you push him away. And that is excellent, and we want to use that, but not this turn. Because I don't need to push this guy. So, like this one's not bad. That way, if I fail to kill him, I can kill him again. And then I get a nice 24, which means I go early. I like Pizza Steve. I will do that one. And then for the bottom, I do need to get closer to him. So I don't need to move 7 spaces. I thought for sure right here. So I don't necessarily need to move 4 spaces, but I can make him suffer 1 damage. I like that one. Yeah, let's do that. So I got a 21 and a 24. Let me get those punched in. 21 and 24. Done. Okay, now let's look at the Bone Shaper. Bone Shaper, as you know, is pretty straightforward. We're going to get a summon going. Which one are we going to do first? I think we're going to do... I like to get this one out first. So that's a 91. And for the bottom piece, I don't necessarily need the skeleton to run out into battle. Like, this is actually not a bad one, but I could be close enough to cast this. I actually like doing this one, because if my skeleton dies, he does 2 damage to somebody. And it's because I don't like casting the Wraith right away, because it's a burn card. So let's do that. It's a 76 and a 91, which, it's late, but that's okay. That just means the skeleton won't die right away. And then the Drifter. Now, what we did last time is we love the melee one, right? We play that all the time, and we play the move one all the time. So I always put these 2 down, and I've been playing every game where these are the only 2 tracks I manipulate. Now, as you know, there's a bunch of other tracks that are not quite as useful, but they can be. Like, one gives you shield, one gives you retaliate, the other one gives you heals. I don't play them all, and I've explained this before, because if you have 6 cards, that are down, then you have less cards to play with. So you're going to be resting more often, and you're basically going to get exhausted. And I need to sneeze. 1 second. Thank you for that. So the lesson learned from that last mission is there's actually a mastery that is doable. Never perform a move ability or attack ability with a value less than 4. So all that means is, like, if I'm using my tokens to add +2 and all that stuff, And, I can do other abilities like heal. That's not an attack ability. But when I do an attack or a move, it's got to always be 4 or more. That is doable with this character. But I have to perform at least one move or attack each round. Now that means that I'm committing to short resting. Because if I long rest, I'm not doing a move or attack. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is I can't play. I still have to play these cards to give me the +2. And if I play these as my 2 pairs, right, I immediately disqualify. Because I'm neither moving or attacking when I play both these cards. So let's say I play this card. That means I have to play another card that moves me. If I play this card, then I got to play another card that does a 4 damage attack. So that's my dilemma. And if I go through my cards, this one has 4 movement. I don't have. Oh, there's one card in my arsenal that has 4 movement. So I could play that card and then play this card with it. So I at least moved 4 that last round, and now I'm ready to do 4 damage with a future attack. But, I'm going to be out in the open or whatever. That's what I would have to do. And then I'd have to do, like I said, short rest, because the moment I long rest, I go around without doing those things. These masteries are not easy. But that's what it would take to do the mastery. And the other problem is you got to pick the scenario where you're going to try to do these shenanigans. And these are shenanigans. I'm almost tempted to say we should start doing random scenarios and then do stuff like that. Now, there's also solitaire scenarios. But you need to have your characters at level 5 before you do those. I find them interesting. So basically we got to play these characters until we get to level 5, which means we already know them pretty well. And then all of a sudden you can do these solitaire scenarios, and then you unlock items or rewards. And so I'm thinking that that's the time to try to do those masteries, because solitaire scenarios, you're only playing with that character. And that's when you can try to be cute and try to do those mastery things. I mean, that's my thoughts. It's really nice to get a perk check mark. And that's what you get if you pull this off. I just don't know if I can pull it off on this particular mission. I mean, if I move and then don't attack, it just means I'm going to be somewhere out here, and then I'm basically going to be susceptible to being attacked either this round or the next. All I have to do is miss one time, and then the whole thing was worthless. So, okay, with all that being said, I guess I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to get the bottom card down and the top, because in my mind, that is the most efficient way to play this character, is to get both of those cards down on the very first turn and then use them the rest of the game, which is what I do. And so that's a 71. Okay, let's rock and roll. Glare, glare, glare. So everybody's going late. You can see, well, 2 of my characters are going, and then bang, 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 they go, and then we go. So these last 2, by the way, have no attacks. So the fact that we're going late doesn't matter. And the one that matters is the living bones here. You can see he's going to do a 2 damage attack against 2 targets, because he attacks 2 targets. And he's going to move 2. So even though he normally does a 1 damage, that means that there's a +1 to his attack there. The corpse, the non-elite is not going to move, and then he's going to put, looks like he's going to put fire on the board. Or, I'm sorry, he's going to consume fire to get +2 movement. If the element is consumed during the move ability, it suffers 2 health. Oh. That's very interesting. And it's almost like the bloated corpse in Gloomhaven, because the bloated corpse would do damage to himself if he tried to move too fast. Very interesting. And yeah, he does some pretty decent damage there. But the elite will at least move one space, no matter what. And then the imps, what are they doing? They are moving, and they are doing range attacks. See, they're annoying. And then they're going to put that little, what is it called? It's not a curse. It's a brittle. They're going to put brittle on us. Okay, so let's go ahead, and what we want to do is we want to kill that the living bone first. So that means we go first. So we're going to play this card, the Summon Reinforcements, and and that gives us an experience point, and then we're going to throw a javelin, and we're going to put wind on the board. So wind is now on, and this dude comes out. We're going to put him right here. I know there's a risk of him getting knocked into this, but there's a reason I have to do that, because the Blink Blade's going to damage everybody around him, and we don't want him next to that. And then yes, let me shuffle the attack deck real quick, and we will draw a card. Alright, here we go. -1. Yay, team! So I just did 2 damage, which should still be enough, to the living bones. 1, 2. And I do remember poisoning them is effective, but obviously I didn't do that. I don't think I have too many poison abilities with the Banner Spear. And now it's Blinkblade's turn. So we are going to, as the plan, move up to 4 spaces, and then everybody around just takes 1 damage. And then for another time I could push, which is awesome, but I don't have another time. I just used my only time I have, so I'm going to have to go slow after this. So that's the first move. So let me get that played. And what we're going to do is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go between both of these characters. And so the 1 damage is going to hit the living bones. So he's down to 2. And then the other one is we're going to hit Frozen Corpse number 4, which knocks him down to 6. Alright, and then I have a 2 damage attack that I'm going to do against the living bones. So let's shuffle, shuffle. I can't remember how I left it since the last time we played. And again, people always report that they never bother to sleeve these combat cards. And I do agree that you viewers saved me some hassle, because I was shuffling twice as much as I needed to. But man, oh man, I just can't imagine playing a game this epic. Alright, so 2 damage against the living bone. I'm going to use... So what I need to do is I need to do exactly 2 damage to kill him. So if I draw a -1, I make my life harder. I do have another attack that I could do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my spyglass and give myself advantage, because I want the opener. So here's the first one, and then here's the second one. So the +0 was all I needed, and it was really just insurance, and we did it. So the opener is complete. I have that in the bag, and Blinkblade has gotten every check mark, I think, this entire series. So he always does well. So he's dead. Loot drops. And it keeps going. Now I can do a move 2 for 1 experience point, and then attack for 3 more. So I don't know what the best course is, but I think I'm going to go ahead and I will move 1 like here, and then that'll give me my 1 experience, and then we will attack again the other guy. I am taking a risk, because that other guy is going to get to attack me. Arguably speaking, he has no movement points. So if I just move one more space away, he won't be able to hit me. So how much is he doing? He's doing a 3 damage attack. So I'm going to get in a attack, and he has shield for 3 damage, so he can turn around and hit me for 3 damage. That's the dilemma I have. I could do the move and just loot, and just forego that last attack. There's no need to kill these guys right away, other than the fact that these imps are annoying. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the loot. So we'll just get that off the board quickly. So the way that works is I'll put it in. I'm sort of at a loss as to why I have to do this, but we draw the loot card right away, and it's an arrow vine. And now with the rules the way I explained it, I have to go through and find an arrow vine, which I think is near the end. Nope. Where are you, Mr. Arrowvine? Right there. So we'll just grab one and I'll put it over in his area. That's doable. Alright. That brings him to a conclusion. Now it's the Snow Imp. The Snow Imp does a 3 range attack for 1 damage, and they move 2 spaces. So we got this one here, which is between these 2 hazardous areas, and the focus is going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The focus is going to be on the drifter. So it's looking like the drifter is the focus, and it gets to move 2 spaces. So it can go 1, which moves to there, and then 2, which moves to there, but nobody's in range, so it doesn't actually attack anything. Then we go to this one, and this one doesn't have to move at all. Blink Blade is in range. And then this one up here just has to move 1 space, and then 1, 2, 3 is the range to there. I guess, hold on. Let me take that back. This one could have gone 1, and then 2, and then 1, 2, 3 is the range. And then this one would have gone here, and then 1, 2, 3. So both of them would have focused on the one that I thought was hiding. But okay, we're going to do the elite one, is attacking the Snow Shaper, the Bone Shaper. And as you can see, it's for 2 damage, and then it'll give her Brittle. So let's see. Oh boy, there's a +1. So that's 3 damage and gives her Brittle. And this is not good. 1, 2, 3, and then Brittle. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the other, well no, let's do it in order. Then number 4 is going to attack Blink Blade for 1 damage and Brittle. So Blink Blade takes 1 and is Brittle. And then the other one is now going to attack the Bone Shaper, and that one is for 1 damage, but the Brittle made it 2 damage, and then she's Brittle again. So she takes 2 more damage, and that puts her down to 1 health. So that means she can't cast a skeleton. So I have to decide, am I going to burn a card to save myself this last damage? Man, I'm burning a card just to save myself over 2 health worth of damage. But if I don't do this, then the skeleton doesn't come out, and I wasted a whole turn. But I'm annoyed. Burning a card is not going to help her. And which one do I burn? I'm going to burn this card right here. I don't know if it's the right choice or not. I need her to heal. And she's already got a card burned. Yikes! Okay, Drifter is going to do exactly what we said. Bada bing, bada boom. So we're going to get the cards in play. And put the 2 tokens out. And he's ready to rock and roll. He just needs that one turn to get poised. And then the oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to go with the frozen corpse. The elite one does get to move, so he moves 1 space. Everybody else doesn't do anything. Okay, and then we are going to get this in play and the skeleton out, which means the Bone Shaper now goes down to 1 health. But we do create a summon, and we can give him 3, 2, and 2. Not the most exciting start, but this means we're going to need to go early and do some healing of some kind. Okay, end of round. Next round. I am never supposed to perform a basic action with her, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Right here, I could basically heal myself for 2 damage, because it's the number of summons I have. I really like this one. Can curse 2 enemies, range 2 away, but I don't have enemies within range 2. I do like this one. Let's get a curse out. And let's heal ourselves. If an enemy has died this round, perform this. It does raise the question, like, does that mean I need to go later? Because I have to have an enemy die before I take my turn? Or can I, if an enemy dies after my turn finishes, do I get to heal 1? And I'm assuming it's an enemy has to have died before I get to take my turn. That is the dilemma. Because I want to go early so I can heal myself, but at the same token, the enemy is not going to have died, so I'm only going to have healed myself 1 health. It's not super helpful. Now, I could do the top part, which hopefully means the skeleton will have a chance to attack again. I'm going to punch it in. We're going to do 30. And if I just get 1 health, that's what I get. And I think what I need to do is, I have that ability to give regenerate to somebody. This one right here, with a range of 2. She's too far away. That's my problem. But that would be nice to help her. But here's the thing. If I want to do a mastery, I need to get this, this, and this to all happen in the scenario. I need to be able to do all 3. I think it's doable. I really do. So they're actually lined up right now to allow me to do this. So, and here, let me show you the scenario. This guy and this imp behind it are lined up for me to do a spear. So let's try to set that up. The spear would be a 67. It's pretty simple to do. This guy just needs to move 2 spaces, but the banner spear needs to move 3 to be able to pull this off. So I just need to find 3 movement. And I have 4. And I can go nice and early to ensure that I get the attack in before anything else happens. And also, it's a pierce. So the frozen corpse has a shield, and the imps, nope. Oh, the living bones had a shield. Ah, the living bones had a shield. So we have to retcon. I hope you guys understand that. For example, the javelin did 1 less damage to the living bones. So the living bones would have had 4 health. He would have only taken 1 damage from the javelin. When Blinkblade moved, he did 1 damage to both. That doesn't get blocked. So then the living bones would have been down to 3 health. And then we did the advantage thing on a 2 damage attack, and we only did 2 damage, which got reduced to 1 damage. So that means he's down to 2 health. So now we got to draw again and make sure that we kill him with that 3 damage attack that I forfeited right there. So I wouldn't have been able to loot. But that's what I got to do. So with that in mind and him having the shield, I would have poisoned him. And then I would have used my renewing potion to bring them back up, because I'm going to do this final attack with advantage. Because remember, I want the check marks. I gotta make this work. So we're gonna make sure I have advantage, because I want every advantage I can. I gotta do 3 damage to this guy. So by poisoning him, that cancels the shield, and I'm doing a 3 damage attack. So I just need one of these to not be negative, and we got him. So here we go. Oh boy. You. Oh no. Okay. So what this means is I still haven't lost my opportunity, but it means that that skeleton gets to attack. And it also means I didn't loot, and it's still alive, and so that skeleton was going to do a 2 damage attack against 2 targets. So let's fix this. That shield has been a nightmare. Alright, so his first attack would be against this one and that one for 2 damage each. So I know we already drew for the imps. I'm not going to retcon that. But so this is going to go against the ally, who I don't want to die, because he was going to set up the pincer movement, or the spear. So that's a 1 damage attack, but he only has 1 health. So he dies like cookie butter. So I'm a little upset now. All of this because I couldn't. So then yeah. Then against Blinkblade, 1 damage to him. And I got him down to 6 now. And that would have been before he became brittle, if I remember the rules or the order correctly. So we're not going to do double there. So so while I'm playing these cards, and I'm like, hey, I want to set up the pincer, the spear thing, that was assuming I had my ally. I don't have it anymore. So now I need somebody else to be around. So I can't pick the 6. I gotta go later in the round. And the 6 is the only 4 movement I have. So I can't even do it. This frustrates me so much. I can do the pincer movement. And actually the other thing that lets me move 4 is the tip of the spear itself. So frustrating. Okay, my dilemma is I still want to do the spear. I have only one card that lets me move 4 spaces. And it has an initiative of 6. If I use the other card, which is the spear itself, it's an initiative of 69. I can use my horn to force that skeleton to be in the spot that it needs to be. The problem I have is then I have to wait until 69 to take my turn, which means these guys will probably have moved, and I no longer can do a spear. No matter what, I can do a spear. Oh, actually, that's... yeah, so the spear would have been 67, so it's still an awful number. No matter what, I can do a spear and get the credit. I just want to hit 2 creatures. That's all I'm trying to do. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'll do the tip of the spear and... excuse me, I guess I have to play the other card, even though it's the 6, which is a wonderful, get a jump start on life, but... alright, I'm still flustered because we didn't kill that skeleton. Okay, so now the Blink Blade has to kill this skeleton, and it has to be the first to kill something. And we have to go slow. Well, the good news is I don't need to move. The bad news is I want to go before the skeleton goes. Right here, 1 adjacent enemy suffers. So that's a 50. And then the other one... we can give somebody, and then they do 2 damage. That would kill him. And it would pierce through the shield, no problem. It's an 82 though. This one is only a 2 damage attack. That skeleton is down to 1 health. Oh, you know what? We got this. We got this. So... yeah, I think I am going to do hit and run. So it's a 50, which means we're going to be going late. And then the drifter has to figure out where to go somewhere in here. He needs to remove negative conditions. So we got allies with negative conditions. So right here, if I heal, what's her name, then I will have removed 1 negative condition already, and I only need to do 1 more. And it heals her at the same time, so that's excellent. So we'll do that. That's a 14, so she can go nice and early. And then I probably need to do a range attack, because now I don't have the ability to move. And there's nothing stopping me from doing a range attack, so let's get one in. This is a range 2. Range 4 poison. I like it. So we're going to do that one, and that should do the trick. And that skeleton, by the way, is poisoned. So, and he's not showing up on the thing. So, I gotta add him back in. Oh, he's still there. I never killed him off. So he's down to 1 health. And he's poisoned. There we go. Alright, so the number for the drifter is 14. And we're going to draw cards. And the snow imp goes first, then the corpse, but the bones goes last. So, and sorry about the glare again, bones goes last. So we should be able to kill the bones, but everybody else is going to kill us. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, drifter is first. First thing we're going to do is we're going to heal her for 2. And when she heals for 2, she loses her brittle. So that's excellent. And that's 1 out of the 2 that I need to remove a negative condition. So 1 out of the 2 is done. How am I going to represent that? Oh, I got a little poker chip here that I'm going to put on it. Okay, that's done. Now, of course, that screwed up my ability to run up and attack, but I will do a 1 damage attack at a range 4 and poison somebody. So the poison, it should go in somebody with a shield. So we're going to poison corpse number 4 here. So here's the, well, let me shuffle his deck real quick. I haven't had the best luck with these cards so far. And you know what's crazy? Blinkblade drew negative cards when I've already removed them, -2 and a -1 from his deck. So he had like the best odds of everybody. And here we go. So we just drew a +0. And so that's 1 damage. Oh no, it's not even 1 damage. Number 4 takes no damage because he has a shield. But he is poisoned. So that's good. Okay, next up on the chopping block is the Bone Shaper. So the skeleton, I am going to use the Horn of Command right away. And the skeleton's going to move 1, 2. Because what it would have done is it would have moved 1, 2 like this and attacked number 3 because he's lower in initiative. So instead he's going to move 1, 2 per my command. And that's going to set me up for the tip of the spear. But it's going to get ruined because these guys are all going to get to move. And in fact, I know what they're going to do, so let's go check this out. They're all moving 1 space. So that means this guy's going to move in. So I'm not going to use the Horn of Command because the tip of the spear is not going to work. I'll let him do his normal movement. 1, 2, and then he's going to attack number 3 here for 2 damage. So let's do that. And I need to shuffle her deck now. I actually don't know how I'm going to do tip of the spear, but I think I need to wait until it's my turn and see how everybody moves. I guess I could AP this and analyze it out, but I don't really want to do that. So there we go. We got a +0. And it does have a shield, so it only takes 1 damage. And it's down to 6. Alright, Drifter, Shambling Skeleton is done. Bone Shaper. No one has died yet. So we're only going to heal 1. So I'm up to 4. And that would have removed a condition too, but that's okay. And then we're going to curse, and then I'm going to curse the dude that's next to the skeleton so the skeleton can attack it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to curse number 4 because he's poisoned, and have the skeleton attack number 4 because he'll do more damage to number 4. So that's the plan, Stan. And Yeah, let's go ahead and make it execute. Alright, so first off, I gained an experience point for summoning that skeleton. Secondly, I have added a curse to their deck. So that's in. Third, the skeleton is going to attack, this time number 4, again with a +0. But with the poison, I do a full 2 damage to him. So 1, 2. Because his shield still blocks 1, it's just the poison adds 1. Alright, then that is done. And now we're going to have to brace for impact. The Snow Imps are now going, and they're doing a range 3 attack again. Which means they're going to attack the Bone Shaper again. Because, well, actually no. Right here. The skeleton is closer. So it's going to shoot the skeleton. And it's going to be, since it's elite, it's a 2 damage attack against the skeleton. So let's get out the deck. And it just drew a +1, so it's a 3 damage attack against the skeleton. And I got 2 options. I have, on the death of one of your summons due to attack, I can make him suffer 2 health. And 2 health is enough to kill a regular imp, but not the elite. Or I'm going to use my robes. So I'm going to exhaust this, and I'm going to give him a shield 2, so he actually only took 1 damage. Almost, if he wouldn't have drawn a +1, I would have taken no damage at all. But I will go ahead and do 1 damage to the skeleton, so skeleton now has 2 health. So he's still alive. Then we got this guy here, who is going to attack the Blink Blade for 1 single damage. And Blink Blade does have the brittle, I believe. Yes. So here we go. So there you go. That's 1 minus 1 is 0 damage. So the brittle, how would this work? Double the next source of damage, then remove. So ooh, that's actually tough. Where's poison on here? All attackers gain +1 attack. Okay, see, they're worded differently. Here's what's going through my head. The +1 attack is added before you draw the combat card. So let's say he had I was poisoned. That imp would have had 2 attack instead of 1. And then this -1 card would have reduced it by 1. And I still would have taken 1 damage, etc., etc. But the way the brittle is written is this next source of damage. So he's doing a 1 damage attack. It's not doubling his attack at all. It's doubling the source of damage. His attack got reduced by 1 to 0. So I'm not taking any source of damage. So therefore, I'm still brittle. And I took no damage. That's what happened with Blink Blade. Alright, that took a little bit of thinking. And maybe for some of you that was all natural. But yeah, that required some machinations. And then number 6 here. We got 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And number 6 is going to attack the skeleton for 1 damage. And why? Because the skeleton goes before the Bone Shaper. So he's like, if you ever took math class, there's 0 and then there's what's called 0 plus. They're both 0, but that's a higher 0 than the other. And believe me, that's a thing. It really does exist in math class. So that's exactly what happened here. And let's do it. Alright, so there was a +1. So that means he's doing 2 damage, which kills the skeleton. And that's great, because now we're going to use this and do 2 damage back. And here's what's glorious about that. We're going to do 2 damage back, And this snow imp only has 2 health. So number 6, oh no, he's the first person to die. Goodbye. Kill the first enemy to die in this scenario. I guess I could choose not to play my card, but I think that's getting a little petty over a check mark. So I'm actually going to kill the imp because that imp is annoying, and the Bone Shaper needs the support. So we're gonna go ahead and take that down. All right, all the best laid plans are not happening, but we did survive it though. They didn't. I mean, all they did was attack the skeleton, but the person I need to do my pincer movement is not there. Oh, it's not pincer, it's tip of the spear. So many apologies. Oh, I apologize. My son is texting me. I will be right back. Alright, so next up is the Frozen Corpse. So just to rehash, he's got a big nasty attack, but it only does 1 damage. Sorry for the glare again. So he is going to move 1 space and then do this little triangle area of effect and put snow on the board. So we're going to go in order. So this guy goes first. He moves 1 space. He would move to here. It doesn't matter who his target is. It's all of it moves the same direction. And then number 3 here would move forward and attack. Let's see. He would hit the 2 spaces in front of him and then the 3 spaces behind him. So he would hit the drifter. Or if he was going this way, he would not attack that way. It would be these 2 and then these 3. So he would attack the drifter. He would attack the drifter. So that's a 1 damage attack. So let's go ahead and resolve that. And it's a no damage attack. So nothing to the drifter. And he does put snow on the board. And then number 4 here doesn't need to move and is going to attack this way. And I'm pretty darn sure he hits his own guy. Let me make sure of this. Okay, that took me a really long time to figure out. And then I just realized I don't have my camera on. Sorry, I had to use my camera to do some BGG research. So, basically, area of effect, according to the rulebook, says that all figures within a range of attack get hit. However, allies don't get hit with negative abilities. Now, these cards are called ability cards, attack ability or whatever. So this is an ability card, and you could say this is a negative ability because it's attacking. So my conclusion is that even though it's doing this AoE attack, it hits everything in that area, it's not going to hit the skeleton. So it's just going to hit me. So Blinkblade's brittle. He hasn't been hit yet. It's just a 1 damage attack. All this effort over a 1 damage attack. And there it is. He just did a 2nd damage, which the brittle doubles. So 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. And then the brittle's gone. So that hurt. And that's it. Okay, so Frozen Corpse's turns are over, and now Blinkblade gets to go. Mr. Rapture here. I have this here. 1 adjacent enemy suffers 1 damage, and I'm just going to kill the skeleton. And then, of course, I don't get my credit now. That was the plan. I am going slow, so it's only a 2 movement thing. So I guess I'm staying where I am. I'm going to kill the skeleton. as originally planned. The first loot token is going to be this arrow vine. I just haven't picked up one yet. And then I'm going to do the top part here, which is just a 2 damage attack and immobilize this guy. So not super exciting, but he is poisoned, and now it became a 3 damage attack. So the poison eliminates the shield. And 1, 2, 3, he's down to 1 health. My apologies. So, and he's immobilized now. Not that it's going to matter. Alright, so Blinkblade's in trouble. And then now we have the Banner Spear, which is extremely interesting. Because in order to do Tip of the Spear, I need my ally behind me. And I'm going to be able to pull it off. So I'm going to be able to go 1, 2. I'm not going to be able to hit 2 targets, but I have an ally behind me. So I will be able to at least hit one of the targets. It's unfortunate. I would have liked to hit 2. But this allows me to do the first of the 3 that I need to do to get my mastery. And it's a Pierce 3, which is excellent because this guy has a shield. This one doesn't have the poison and any of that other jazz. So it's a 3 damage attack against number 3. And there's the +0. And I just realized something. Blinkblade has a shield, so I'm going to give him 1 health back. So I just said a 3 damage attack. 1, 2, 3. So I got 2 of these corpses that are actually near death. So I gotta get coordinated here and finish them off. I have to kill an enemy and open a door at the same turn. That's still gonna be quite a challenge, but we're at the end of the round. The bones did die, finally. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just leave them there for now. We're gonna go ahead and end the round. And let's continue. Alright, so we got some pretty damaged people. It actually might help to drop that banner that heals. The Bone Shaper would like to get more. I am up to 4 health, so do I do something foolish and put another skeleton out? I mean, the summons are how you do your damage in this game. But I do need to heal. So I'm going to go ahead and see, I was on pause for so long. Oh no, it was the skeleton that got attacked by the imps. So yeah, we don't have brittle on anybody else. I guess I'm going to put out another skeleton, but it's another 2 damage for me. That's the part that I'm not a big fan of. And for the bottom piece, let's see, we have snow. We had air, but there's still snow on the board. Snow doesn't do anything for me. I guess we move. That's the key thing. Maybe I'll do this one. That'll move 3. It's not super exciting, is it? But it lets me go earlier at 26. And then I can get my skeleton out again. Okay, so the Banner Spear. Like I said, we got 1 of the 3 out of the way. Now I could try to do Pincer and get 2 of the 3. Like, so let's just make sure I'm not smoking pot here. That has metaphorically happened in the past on my channel. Here we go. Attack at least 3 enemies with each of 3 different area of effect attack abilities. Yeah, that is it. This one I had to perform a banner summon at the beginning and it had to stay within 3 spaces of me. I I don't know when I'll ever be able to do that one, but this one I think I can do. So, like, if I could do a pincer movement, I would need two movement. So that's not a bad one. This is the other one, right? That's the third and final one. But the pincer movement, if I can get that one out of the way, I would like it. And I also like this one. I'm going to get to move 2 and then grant 2 allies a move 2. And that gives me a 32, which is a lower number. So let's get into the action. 32, and then he's in. Now, Blinkblade, I have been struggling lately. I don't know why. I got to get him healed. So we have a heal one. In fact, this one is a nice one where he heals himself and gives himself regenerate, which is good in the neighborhood. Or I have this one where he heals himself and everybody around him, but he's not near anybody. So I like this one. We'll do that. And then he's next to somebody, so he could still kill who he's next to. And in fact, he can even, wound him, move, and then wound somebody else. Oh, that's a burn. I don't want to do a burn yet. Sorry. There's no harm in doing this one. That's a 45. And I'm choosing to go fast again. So, and then I still have loot tokens I gotta worry about and all that jazz, but we'll get there. Okay, and then the Drifter. He has things to do and people to kill. That heals himself. He's not really damaged. And I think we already used his ability to heal others. This is a range attack, but I could switch it to a melee so I can... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think I have too many attacks in place right now. Actually, I'm going to get a loot in. We're going to do a move 3. Actually, I don't even need to do a move 3. I just need to move 2. So where's that range attack at again? We're actually going to do the range attack, which I know is not as effective, but it'll allow me to loot. And then I just need to do something on the bottom, which we'll go ahead and do this one. And we're just going to do a basic move with that. And I know it's not super exciting for him. Well, actually, no. I can do a melee attack. Range 2. Yeah. Okay. I'm feeling good. Let's put in 61. Alright, so I know I just rambled there. Here's where I'm going. I want to move and pick up this loot. This guy's 2 spaces away, so I can kill him. So I could do a range attack, but then I just realized I have the spear, which lets me do a melee attack 2 spaces away. And that's what my epiphany was. So, yeah. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got everybody in, so let's go ahead and draw cards. So you can see the snow imps are going early. Everybody else is going late. So we should have everybody good and dead by then. Bone Shaper goes first. I do have a skeleton that's out, but that's because I forgot to delete him. So I'm just going to leave him there because we're summoning another one. And so that's going to come out. I'm going to grab another experience point. I'm going to drop 2 health. I am skirting with extremely low health. And remember, I can't ever do a basic action, but I'm okay with not doing a basic action with this character. So we get the skeleton out here. And then I'm going to go ahead and move 3. So I don't necessarily want to move into the fray, but I want to get away from this guy. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, so I stay back and out of trouble. And theoretically, I could go get this loot token, but I'm just keeping her back for now. So not a very exciting turn, but getting the summons out is her priority. And then, of course, she needs to heal. So next is the Banner Spear. Now, I want to do a pincer, and I can only do a pincer against one target, and that's this one. And that's where my dilemma is. I thought I could pincer this one, but the way the pincer works, and I screwed up again. I did not want to do that card, because that's my third one for my mastery, and I don't want to discard that. So I screwed up in general. So I apologize, but I have to retcon. That's not how I wanted it to play out. I mean, if anything, I wanted to play this card and just do it for basic 2 movement. So I'm okay with leaving the pincer card in, because that was always my plan, but I don't want to play the third card. I want to get the mastery like as soon as possible. I want to be able to check that box. Okay, so this would be for a basic 2, and then this is the, and I would have to use my boots to hop over him. And then this is the situation. I need my ally to be on one side of him, and I'm on the other. Well, the drifter is behind me, so it doesn't quite work that way. So the only thing I can do is I can still move 2 spaces, 1, 2, but this is the only guy I have a pincer on. That's not where I wanted to go with it, but that's the only way it's working out. So 5 damage. I am going to take an experience point, and let's go ahead and draw. And of course I drew a +1, which is like total overkill. And number 4 is like 3 times over dead. Yeah, he only had 1 health. So yeah, so I overkilled against a 1 health guy. But I'm still glad I got 2 out of the 3 done. And then the third one is the easiest of the 3. So hopefully we'll be able to pull that off. Next up is the Snow Imps. So I am going to get attacked by the Snow Imps. They are going to do... Oh, they're healing. They're healing within range 3. So according to the rules, they're going to move like it's a melee attack. They're going to move 3 spaces. So this guy is going to focus the banner blade and move 1 space in towards the banner. And then now it's going to look around and I'm going to heal somebody for 3 spaces, or 3 health. I'm sorry, 2 health, but a target 3 spaces away. And I think number 3 is damaged. He is. He's down to 3 health, so he's back up to 5. And then this one is going to target the banner and not him because of the rules we talked about earlier in the video. Since there's obstacles in the way, the movement is this way. So 1, 2, 3, and then stops there. And unfortunately is going to heal him back to full health. So I guess if I would have pincered and hit him, both of these guys would have been healed. So it sort of worked out, I guess. I didn't even realize that that these Snow Imps aren't attacking us this round. They're just they're healing people. All right, so their turn's over. Blinkblade is up, and the guy we were planning on killing is not there. So let's figure this out. I could still do this. Yeah, I definitely want to heal myself and put that on. So, because I'm down to 3 health. Now I'm up to 5, and I got regenerate, which is good. So that means I can't move. That was my issue. And then this is wasted. So that's the problem, is by doing the healing, I'm not getting to move anywhere. But that's okay. Blinkblade's not been doing a good game so far. Alright, and then we got the Drifter, who was going to go down here and loot. And now he doesn't need to. And one of the things I'm looking at is the Blinkblade. See that? I might do that next round. And because I'm going to do that, I would get both of these loot tokens. So I don't need the Drifter to go after these loot tokens. Let's just go in and murder, death, kill. So that just means do basic. So we're going to move and we're going to attack. And theoretically, I could move and loot one of these. because I don't necessarily have another place to move. Well, uh, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would need to move more than 4 spaces, and as you can see, I can't do that. So, all right. I'm going to gain 2 experience points, 1 and 2, like that. The drifter, 1, 2, and I can at least loot one of these. Why not? I mean, then I don't have to do the loot card per se. That leaves room for the skeleton to do something else. Yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to grab the loot card. We already know what it is. It's that arrow vine, so I'm just going to move the arrow vine from Blinkblade down to his area. And then he is next to this one, so we're going to do basically a melee attack for 4 damage. And there's the card. So he has shield 1, and we would have killed him, but basically he has 1 shield, so he only took 3 damage. He's basically right back to where he started when the mission began. And then now it's their turn. So they're going to move 1 or 2 spaces. This guy can move onto the ice, which would have caused him to move off the ice, but basically he stops because we're there to stop him. And then he's going to do a 2 damage attack and put ice back on the board. Ice magic. So his focus is going to be the banner spear. So he's going to do a 2 damage attack on the banner spear. Do I want to use my armor on a 2 damage attack? I don't necessarily want to give him disadvantage. There is a doubler still in the deck here. You know what? He's the toughest guy on the board right now. So I am going to use my leather armor. We're going to give him disadvantage. So here's the first, and here's the second. So if anything, we got rid of that +1. That was good. So he did a -1, and it's a 2 damage attack. So we took 1 damage. That's not bad. I think the big thing is if you got brittles everywhere, that 1 damage, I mean, it does add up. Now this other guy, he's got the same dilemma. He doesn't have to move, so he's also attacking the banner spear. But in his case, he's attacking for he's also attacking for 2 damage. So I don't have the ability to give him disadvantage. And I did use my flying boots, so I need to exhaust that real quick. All right, done. So there we go. So 2 more damage to the banner spear. She can handle that. All right, turn over. End of round. Nope. Yeah, end of round. Okay, let's keep going. We finally got the skeleton up. What are we doing? We want to attack, murder, death, kill. I still can heal, but I need more. I would like to have more summons out before I use it, but I can't afford to. I mean, unless I want to get the Wraith out, which I don't even have the Wraith card, by the way. This is an interesting one. I thought we put Leaf on the board last round, and maybe I forgot. Nope, it was use a Leaf. I'm sorry. This one would grant my summon an attack. I'm going to just go ahead and do it just because I get an extra attack out of the deal. And then for the bottom part, I definitely don't want to damage myself and I can't use basic actions, remember? That's one of the things I agreed not to do. So what I could do is I could save Blinkblade from looting by just moving myself. Like right here, I'm going to move myself 4 spaces. And then I will go loot that myself, and then Blinkblade doesn't have to. It wasn't the original plan, but it works. Alright, that's done. Banner Spear. I would like to finish this sucker, so let's get combined effort in, and then we're going to have the mastery done before we even do our first rest. I do have a heal, though. She's nowhere near me, so I can't use that yet, but I need to get her near me. And then for the bottom part, I could put the banner down, which would allow us to heal. That is a burn card. But this is a good time. I mean, we are all taking damage. And that would be nice. I don't know. But I could do this thing here where I'm at least protected from range attacks against those imps. We don't have wind on the board anymore. I'm going to do that, and then it'll be a 15, so I get to go nice and early and get that mastery out of the way before anybody screws it up. Alright, Blink Blade. We are forced to go slow. He is near the Drifter, who does not need to be healed. But she will be next to him. So we're going to go ahead and do a heal on the bottom. That's an 82. Then on the top, I just need something that lets me move. This one will let me move 2 spaces. It's a burn. So basically I'm wasting a card. Alright, well I guess I'm going to waste that card. So we'll go ahead and put him in as 74. And Mr. Drifter. Almost doesn't even matter what cards we play. We just do basic and just get +2/+2. I am in the fray. Let's do a massive attack. Yes, let's do a massive attack. And then along the bottom. This one is actually not an awful one. That's another burn card I'm putting out of my hand. But it is nice because it gives me retaliate. And I don't need to heal myself. That's the issue. Alright, I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to play another one of these. Against my better judgment, but they're all great abilities. It's just too many. Too many. Can't have them all active at once. That's a 65. He's actually going to take damage before he gets to take his turn. I probably should have played the heal card. Alright, there's our draw. So you can see the Frozen Corpse is actually going early. And they're going to do an attack, which is going to cause... He's going to consume the ice to make a brittle. So, yeah, we're going to get our Banner Spear attack in first. So I'm going to give myself shield. It's just for this round. I'll put it up here just to indicate that it's active. And gain an experience, and we're going to hit somebody and wound them. I need to be next to the ally of whoever I attack. So let's give myself the experience first. I'm definitely next to somebody, so I don't need to worry about that. So I got 2 choices. We can go after this one here or this one here. Those are the only 2 that I can go for. And the number 2 is going to give me brittle because we have ice on the ice element on the board. He has 10 health. I'm not going to be able to kill him. The other one only has 4 health, and I'm doing a 3 damage attack. I have a chance against him, so I'm going to go ahead and try to take out number 3 here. He does have a shield, so he does reduce my hit by 1. And I reduce by 1 again. It just stinks so badly. So I only did 2 damage to him, but I did wound him. So he is going to take 1 damage on his turn, but if I would have just done my 3 damage like I planned, he would have died as soon as his turn started. And unfortunately, his turn's starting right now. So this guy is going to take his wound and go down to 1. But number 2 goes first. And what he's going to do is they're going to move. He's moving 3 spaces. He's doing a 1 damage attack, and he's going to put brittle on someone. Well, it's going to be the banner spear. And he's not going to move. And neither is the other guy. They're both going after the banner spear. Pretty straightforward. They both do 1 damage. The ice is going to be consumed only by the first guy. And he's going to put brittle on the banner spear, but not until after the end of his attack. So this first attack will not have brittle applied. And so he does no damage, but he still applies brittle. Okay, so his turn's over, and now we got the other one. He's also going to attack the banner spear, who now has brittle. And so that's a 1 damage attack, which becomes 2. So the brittle goes away, and we take 2 hits, and down to 5 health. Alright, done and done. After the frozen corpse, we have the shambling skeleton. So that's a pretty simple. We're going to move up, we're going to attack for 2, and the shield's going to block 1, or not. So this guy only had 1 health, and so he dies. So we got ourselves a loot token there. And now we got to decide what we're going to do on our turn. And I am actually going to change my mind and not go after this loot token. I am going to... Unfortunately, my skeleton can't attack anybody anymore. I can still do the action. It just doesn't do anything because he has nobody to attack. And then I get to move 4 spaces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 3, and I'm going to get this one up here. Alright, so from a loot perspective, that is a single coin. And there she be. What I find interesting is, what does all this mean? Well, these are check marks, so that means I got the single coin from this one, and that one, and that one. Like, it's like special mission coins. See, like, that one doesn't have that. So I guess maybe those are special, special ones that are only for certain missions. Interesting. I don't know. But anyways, got a coin. And yes, she's in a little bit of harm's way, but it's going to work out. Now the snow imp is going to go, and the snow imp is, let's show you. The snow imp is going to do a move, a 0 or 1 damage attack, and it's going to poison whoever he hits. So that's the big thing, is the poison. And then if there's any element on the board, it's going to add an extra target. There are no elements on the board. So that's not the issue. The elite one is going to do 1 damage, and it's a range attack. And again, both of them are going to target the banner blade, but they have to move 1 space away. So this one will move here, and that one will move there. And we're going to start with the elite, who's doing a 1 damage attack and will poison us. 2 damage. So Banner Spear is now down to 3 health. And then we go down, and now we got to do the other one. So we're now poisoned, so it's a 0 damage attack, but the poison gives it a +1. So we just took 1 damage. So now we're down to 2 health. So getting hurt pretty hard. Oh, no, hold on. Stop the whistles, stop the whistles. Shield 2 only applies in range attacks. I predicted this. So I'm going to give myself 2 health back. Because we didn't take any damage from them. We had shields. So, excelente. Alright, after they go, the drifter gets to go. So the drifter is standing next to this big beast, And we are going to play this for its card and turn on Retaliate. And we're going to do a 3 plus 2 is 5 damage. And I don't think I'm going to kill anybody, but if I ever did, I'd get to move it back by 1. And did the Drifter really burn a card already? Why do I have a card in the burn pile? I remember the Bone Shaper needing to burn a card. I don't remember the Drifter needing to burn one. The Drifter I don't even think has taken damage yet. Alright, I think I just discarded a card on the wrong side. I gotta be very careful about that. Okay, so this is a 5 damage attack against him. And I could add range, but I don't have enough. Oh, I see. I think the Drifter started with 12 cards. He only had 3 cards left in his hand, which is impossible if you're playing 2 cards around. So this card with the heal self, I think when I just threw him into his area, it just went too far and it looked like it was in the burn pile. My apologies. I just have there was a card in the burn pile for the Drifter. Okay, so there's nothing I can do to enhance this attack. So I'm just going to, let's just draw. And I drew a -1. So he also has a shield, which makes it another -1. And he has Retaliate. I didn't even realize that. So he took 3 damage, and then the Drifter takes 1. Puts us down to 9 health. Okay, Blink Blade has Regenerate, so he's going to go up to 6. I'm actually going to use this now and loot that. That's the top card. The loot is a hide. So we got one of those out. It doesn't matter if they match perfectly, because there's no bonus for a 3 or 4 character for a 4 character game. They're all just one hide. So, anyways, there are some different cards. Like if you were in a 2 character, you would get a bonus. And then for the bottom, right here, heal 2, and it's everybody around him, and he's here, and it's him and the Drifter. So not the most exciting thing in the world, but he will heal 2, and so will the Drifter, and that's that. End of round. We're moving a little slow, but we're being methodical. And I'm at a spot where I need to end, so this might be my last video for the day. It's a good spot to wrap up, and then when I come back we can continue. And thanks for watching as always. Stay awesome.